Tell us, Reedy, almost 2,000 racetracks in your lifetime. You just go from one track to another?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I do. You guys are the last weekly track that I haven't seen in Illinois. I've had you on my schedule a few times, never been able to make it. I'll tell you, I'm really impressed. You guys have a great show going on here.
We call it the Eldora for micro sprints. Tell us about where you've been and where you're going.
Well, right now I'm in the midst of a 41-day trip. I think this is something like day 25. I've seen about 23 or 24 tracks. Let's see, tomorrow I'll be up in Iowa, and then in a couple days I'll be over in Pennsylvania, and I hope to see my 2,000th track there. I've been doing this for quite a long time, seen a lot of tracks, been to 68 countries, as I think you might have mentioned, and you guys got to be in the top 5 or 10% of all the tracks I've ever seen. I mean, it's very well organized, the racing is great, it's side-by-side, creates a lot of drama. And you got a big field here tonight, and the fans who are watching this are pretty lucky to see this, because I do go to a lot of tracks which aren't always that great, but you guys are top notch, and I've been to Eldora about 40 times, and I would say you are the Eldora of this type of racing.
That's a heck of a deal. So you're in the midst of a 41-day swing, you said. Tell us a little bit about it. Do you do it year-round? Do you take some of the winter time off? Do you maybe stay in the west or the south during the winter time? How do you kind of plan your year out when you decide you're going to go to the races?
Well, living in Southern California, we only live about 75 miles from Tijuana, Mexico, so that's not exactly in the heartland of the United States where all the tracks are in the Midwest and the East. I do this 12 months a year. There is a competition of sorts, and the guy behind me's got about 1,550 tracks, so he's more than 400 behind me. But it's a 12-month a year deal now. We do a lot of ice racing up in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Canada in the wintertime. That's also a time sometimes to go down to Australia or New Zealand and see some of the racing there. And yeah, it's pretty much, I probably do this about 40 weeks a year. My wife and I have a trip, we're going over to Newfoundland and Labrador in about a week, and that'll be my 10th and final Canadian province. I've obviously seen racing in all 50 states and Washington, D.C. And it's just a fun thing to do, to see all these things for the first time. And I actually, about 40 years ago, grew up around Peoria, Illinois. And Peoria Speedway, which is a high bank little bull ring like this, is one of my favorites of all the tracks I see. And by the way, we count racing on figure eights, ovals, and road courses. We don't count demolition derbies, motorcycles, drag strips, that kind of stuff. We actually have a bunch of rules on what does count and what doesn't count. But dirt oval tracks like this one are my favorite, and seeing side-by-side open-wheel racing is great. My home track in California until it closed some time ago was Ascot Park, which is pretty much one of the most famous open-wheel tracks ever. And so I think I'm pretty well qualified to say that you guys got a good thing going here.
Well, we appreciate that. Tell folks a little bit about, because your card says you've seen it in 68 different, racing in 68 different countries. American dirt track racing in America, we think, is somewhat unique, although we know that they have it in New Zealand and Australia. Are there other countries that you've been to where maybe they might have something similar to American dirt track racing that maybe we don't know about?
Well, for the most part, like you say, it's Australia and New Zealand. United Kingdom has a lot of oval track racing, and that's about it for traditional oval track racing. Just about everybody else is some form of a road course or a street course or something like that. United Kingdom racing is fantastic. They never rain out. They don't have any yellow flags to speak of, and they're very top class, which is pretty much the equivalent of the World of Outlaw sprint cars. They call them Formula One stock cars over there. If somebody crashes, they just leave them in the middle of the track and they keep racing, and this is their top class of stock car racing in the United Kingdom. So very exciting to watch the racing over there. And the other places that we go to in the foreign countries, it's almost just as much about seeing the country, and that's really a big thing about this track chasing. It's not just seeing the racing, which I enjoy, but it's seeing all the things that lead up to it. And you know, I'm in a quest right now this season to see my last 4 Major League Baseball ballparks, so I'll be able to say I've seen them all there. So it's a lot of seeing what's up and down the road. This first 25 days, I think I've driven about 11,000 miles. I've burned about a tank of fuel every day, just about. But it's a lot of fun, and I wouldn't give it up for anything. It's actually, I'm not going to Lee County for the oval track racing, which I've already seen.
Oh, really? Okay.
They're having a figure 8 show. And actually, figure 8 racing, there's all kinds of it. There's the county fair where they go 20 miles an hour, but there's some really good figure 8 racing, especially in Nebraska. They essentially have late model stock cars that they race on a figure 8 track at speeds that late model stock cars race.
Oh, wow.
You know, I remember as a kid on ABC's Wild World of Sports, they show figure 8 racing all the time.
Yeah.
Usually it was from out in New York.
Iceland,
Yeah, Islip. And the Speedrome there in Indianapolis,
Yep.
I still has figure 8, I believe. I'm
They're
not
very
sure.
good,
Yeah.
for asphalt.
Yeah.
But
Thank you very much.
Nebraska and Iowa have permanent
yes,
figure 8
ma'am.
tracks.
Thank you.
That's the only class they race.
Wow.
And they'll get 30, 40 cars, so they put on a really good show.
I didn't know that. That's nice. That's neat to know.
Picture.
Thank you very much for coming. We do appreciate it.
Could I get a picture with you? I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding right now. I would.
Oh my gosh.
Well, Randy, we want to thank you very much. Shake your hand. Thank you for coming to visit us here at Southern Illinois Raceway. We're glad you're enjoying yourself tonight. Your wife with you, I'm assuming. Is she enjoying herself too?
She's not here tonight, but she's going to join me next Wednesday.
Okay, well, we want to thank folks. How about a round of applause? This guy's seen almost 2,000 racetracks in his entire lifetime. Trackchaser Randy Lewis decided to visit us here at SIR, and we're certainly glad to have you aboard.
Hey, thanks.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
It was fun
it.
talking.
Awesome to have you
Yeah,
here. That's
yeah,
awesome. It really is.
Honestly, I've had you guys on my schedule 6 or 8 times. Either it was too far, the weather didn't cooperate, or whatever happened.
This is a good show to come.
Yeah,
Oh,
it is.
yeah.
The non-wing race here is a good one.
We've had some really good racing tonight, too.
Yes, we have already.
So you're doing a great job of announcing. That's another thing. The announcers in a lot of places aren't quite as good.
Guess who?
That just blew my mind.
What?
This guy sees a bunch of racetracks.
That
too.
stat just blew my mind.
Have you been to a lot of racetracks?
Not that many, but